Hello, this is Barry Midgordon, and this is a Baz Mac Geek tip for macOS. Let's take a quick look at Quick Look. Here we are in the Finder in macOS 26 Tahoe. Quick Look is a feature that goes back all the way to the very first version of macOS 10. And it allows you to preview the contents of a file without even opening the file. So let's take a quick look at what Quick Look can do for you. I'm going to open this favorite photos folder. We'll start with an images, and I'm going to click on a file, and then to view it in Quick Look, all you need to do is tap the space bar on your keyboard, and it brings up the contents of the file in the Quick Look window. You can dismiss it by clicking the little X circle in the upper left corner, or by tapping the space bar again. It's just a toggle like switch on and off. Space bar to open, space bar to close it. There's also a Quick Look command in the file menu. You can choose it there or use a keyboard shortcut of Command Y, which then means you have to hit two keys. It's just much easier to hit the space bar. And this works with any kind of file with some caveats. So let's back out of this folder again and look. It also works in any kind of view you might be using in the Finder window. So here's that favorite photos folder, and I can select an item there and hit the space bar. And what a handsome dude. And you'll notice that the file in the window is still selected. You can click on a different file in the background, and the Quick Look window will update to show you the contents of that file. You can also use the arrow keys to navigate down through the contents of that folder as long as something is selected and the Quick Look window is open. So let's look at some of the other kinds of files. Here's a PNG file. Quick Look opens that. Here is an HEIC image file. Quick Look opens that. And here is a Pages file, a poster, and it shows you some of it, but you can scroll to see the entire thing. So what if it was a multi-page Pages document? Let's look in this folder. Here is a Pages file. It's an outline to one of our meetings and multiple pages. It could be a Word file or some other word processing software. As long as the developer has included the hooks for the preview for macOS, you can see the contents without opening the file. All of Apple's content creation software you can view, as well as many other popular and ubiquitous file types like JPEG, PNG, all those kinds of things for images. If a third-party piece of software doesn't use Apple's APIs to develop the hooks in it for Quick Look to open it and see it, you'll just see a generic icon and a little information about the file. It's up to the developers of third-party software to support this feature. What happens if you have a folder selected and you hit Quick Look? Well, it opens up and it shows you the icon. This would be similar to if a file type is not supported by the third-party developer for Quick Look. You would get a generic icon of whatever that document is, and some little information about how big it is and when it was last modified. Or in the case of a folder, it shows you how many items and how much space all those items take up on your drive. So let's go back and look at these images or these photos real quick. We got some other controls here. You see we have a markup button and a rotate button and a share button and an open with button. And every Quick Look window will have those or some variation on them depending on the file type and the content of the file. The Open With button will be whatever software is the default software to open that file type on your Mac. So let's look at the next one. You'll notice this one is sideways. It needs to be rotated. So you can rotate an image right in Quick Look without having to open the file to fix it. And if you hold the Option key down, it'll rotate to the right or clockwise. The default is counterclockwise. You can also open the markup menu, which allows you to add shapes, arrows, text, highlighting. For certain kinds of documents, you can add your signature. You got control over the line color, the line weight, the fill of the shape, and text controls for when you add text. And the share sheet will allow you to send a copy or collaborate depending on the kind of file it is. And you can send it using any of these applications in the list or as a message attachment. If we look at this one, folder again, look at icons. You can select all icons or all images, files in a folder. And when you hit the quick look spacebar, you now have arrows that you can navigate back and forth through the contents of that folder as well. And the arrow keys on your keyboard will do those same controls. If you add the Option key to the spacebar, when you do that with a multiple selection, it starts a slideshow for you. And you can just sit and watch as your favorite photos play a slideshow. Of course, you can pause it anytime you'd like to by moving the mouse, brings up this heads up control. You can close it, you can exit the full screen, and you have an index sheet if you want to click, and you can see all the images that you have selected in the Finder when you used the Option spacebar, and select any one of them to go directly to it, jump to a different one by going back and forth to the index sheet. And if you exit full screen, you still have them all selected. There's an index sheet as well in the window. You can get to any of those controls in Quick Look. Now, if you were to Quick Look a video, it'll actually start playing. In video production, I'll mute that, and you can watch the entire video in the Quick Look window. But you can pause it. You also have a different kind of control. You can rotate it and share it here, but instead of a markup, you have trimming controls. So you could take and go in and edit the beginning and end of the video just in Quick Look without having to open it in a video editor. And with text documents, you can open, or word processing documents, you can open the Quick Look window, and you can actually select the text, copy it, and paste it somewhere else that you need it without having to open the document. So that's a quick look at Quick Look in macOS. As I said, this was in Tahoe, macOS 26. But if you have used any version of macOS 10 since 2002, this is something you can take advantage of. If you've never heard of it or you've never used it, give it a try and see how it can help you in your Macking around. This is Baz Mac Geek. See you next time.